Right now, I know it's dark, but the place I got this truck, there's 2 Ford Lincolns there. They're cars, and I'm gonna try to get one of them running. There's another little Ford car, forgot what model, but it doesn't have any papers, so it's kind of... We got them all for really cheap. I got a bunch of tires, I'll film that in a bit, but I want to see if I can get... There's one there, a white one. The white one I think is in really good shape, so I'm not planning to spend a lot of time there, and I'm gonna see if that one will run. And then that trailer over there, I just got that today from the same place. All that trailer back here with this thing. Probably should have filmed it, but kind of difficult to film stuff sometimes. I got all the stuff I could need: gas, battery, or a jerry can, and then this thing. Yeah, battery, jumper cables are in the cab. There's some other tools in the cab as well. So I have to have a light on this phone. So here's this Ford Lincoln. It's big old car. That's just roots. It's not wire. Yeah, I can't do a very good job of filming it, but this is the one we bought, and this truck came from here, and there's another one over there. You can't see, it's a brown one. So, yeah. I forgot the price on these. These were kind of old and broken. So, see if we can get it running. Now, someone took the battery cables off of here. So the power goes there. No, like, where does it go? I got ground on a thing on the engine there. Okay, we got something. So the reason that's slow is just, the reason that's slow is just because when engines sit for a while, everything kind of seizes up a bit. And one thing I'm going to check, I was here today, already checked the tranny fluid and the engine oil. I'm just going to get it running. I'm not going to drive it home now, but okay, it turned over. Well, that was lucky. I think all there is wrong right now is just a cable that goes to the starter. Or actually, this goes to the starter. Maybe that goes on the battery. That's what it is. I'm going to try something. Okay, this is the output of the solenoid there for the key. That's the input. There's current going somewhere. Or not current, but that spark means that it's... So I'm going to try to use the key to turn it over. And I think if that works, that means the electrical is not screwed up. Oh, look at that. Fancy lights. Yeah, this is... Yeah, there we go. This thing's alive. See if anything happens. I don't expect something to happen. Actually, let's check the air filter first. I guess it's... Yeah. See, that looks good. A little bit of stuff in there. Nothing much. It's all clean. So that's all clean now. Let's see if by magic it'll start. So the air system's clean. You know, the top of the engine's a bit dusty. Fuel. Let's just see if it'll start. Sometimes these things fire up. Like when I started my truck, I turned it over, and when I figured out how to get it to turn over at the right speed, it fired right up. gonna try to hook up a battery. Okay, so here's what we got. So here's the power from truck battery, which is a nice big tractor battery. So yeah, and so here's this. This is an oversized power cable. That's all I have. It goes there, and then the kind of difficult to see down there. But I think that's on there. He's clamping that wire on there. Should be. And then that thing just grounds to the engine. So, see if this thing will start again. Some of this ether in the air box there. I'm gonna try a bit of gas, put a bit of gas in there. So this is my 1988 Ford Lincoln. I think this is a town car. They call it the Ford Lincoln. Anyway, I think this car would start. It just does not have spark. The points are probably dirty or something. They need to be cleaned, or it just needs new points. I think that's all it is. I did put a bit of gas in the gas tank and it dripped out. So the gas tank is bad. It's rusted out. But other than that, you know, it's kind of late in the year to try to get the thing going. I may try it again this year, but I think I'm going to save this project car for next year, and I'll try to get it running, and then we'll see what happens from there. You know, get the brakes working and the fuel system. And once it runs and drives really well, then it needs a bit of auto body work at the back. And then, you know, if I do that, then this car could go on the road. So we might be able to get the car on the road, which would be fun. Well, this is one of the cars that was at the same property my truck was at. And so we acquired them. I think we got this thing for really cheap. I think this is like less than $50 for this thing. I don't know, there's a couple of old Lincolns I'm going to film in a minute, so. I want to get this thing going. That's the engine. I've tried to get it going, I just turned it over. The engine turns over, doesn't have any oil in it, or it's pretty low, so that might have been the problem, because apparently this was dumped there years ago, or it just got parked there. So it would make a good field car, I guess. This is more of a toy. And so what I could do is figure out how to jack up the suspension a bit on the front. And I think if I get a couple of spacers on there, I should be able to put those big quad mud tires on the front. That would be pretty fun. Then I'd have a little bit better traction. Then the bumper is just garbage on here, plastic junk. And that we beat that up, taking it home, hauling it home. We just hauled it home with a tractor on the road, just like a tow truck would. But it's like practically a snowmobile engine in this thing, pretty small. Yeah, I'll probably have to take that bumper off and just put a piece of metal there to protect the front of it. This car probably is garbage to begin with, so there probably is some serious issue, bad transmission or something. In fact, it wouldn't come out of park. Fiddled with that control and does not come out of park for whatever reason. This button doesn't go in, so I might just get rid of it, scrap it, or something. But usually no one wants these, so they're, you either drive them for fun or you just scrap them or whatever. There's the Ford Escort. Oh, and it has no papers, so I can't get it running and sell it. But it might be a runner. Might be able to get it going. Oh, here's these old Ford Lincolns. So I've heard these are pretty, well, they're not rare, but they don't make these anymore. So, no, I figured they were good yard ornaments. So we brought them home. And we could get the papers for these. Previous owner has them. She's just trying to do the transfer to get them, or whatever. Yeah. These things have seen better days. They're like junk cars, essentially. But this one's pretty nice inside. This one's the one I thought I could definitely get running and road legal. This one could probably still be driven on the road. Smells really nice inside. But this thing has rotten. Look at that. There's a wasp it's been dead there for so long it bleached. The sun bleached the wasp. Never seen that before. That's amazing. That wasp has been bleached. That's interesting. Yeah, I do have the key for these things. So they're not in too bad a shape. This one's still looking pretty nice inside. It's an automatic. At first I thought the suspension was like really bad in these things because it was so bouncy. But it's actually supposed to be like that. But yeah. Not the biggest. I guess it is a pretty big cab. And I tried to get this one running too. It turned over. I have videos of that. It was turning over, but it wouldn't start. And the gas tank is sadly rusted out on it, so this hood thing doesn't work right. I'll put the battery in there. I could probably get it running, but that's kind of a big job and we're super busy right now anyway. But here's the engine. I don't know what that means. It's a V something. Oh, it's a V8 something. But yeah, this one was turning over really nicely. It had transmission oil, it had engine oil, so it has potential. But it just wouldn't start, which could mean it doesn't have spark. Usually that's a pretty easy issue to fix. But it would need some work. That's just all Bondo over rust right here. Like just dig holes like dirt. But it's like just the paint holding all the metal together here. That'll all need to be fixed up a bit. Now, we never want to put money into these. Like, we don't have a fortune, so no, these cars are never going to look perfect again, which is still kind of sad, but no, it'd be nice to have one of these on the road, even if it looks like this. But this side's worse. There's a couple of big rust holes. And the underneath of it is just terrible. It's pretty rusty. I mean, it probably could still be driven legally, but it's still pretty rusty. That's probably almost the limit. But these things don't have, this one doesn't have a lot of miles on it. And for some reason, the back wheels are not the fancy aluminum ones. Oh, yeah, I think it's aluminum alloy or something. I don't know where the back wheels are. I've never seen them. But I like this thing. It's flexible. So if something hits it, it's not going to break off. Yeah, I towed them home. And that's just about the only damage I did to it, other than a few minor scratches. No, I thought, maybe that bumper would get dented pretty bad, but they need a bit of body work. But, I'd save them from being scrapped, at least. I'm never going to scrap these. I'd have to die first before these get scrapped. But these are good yard ornaments right here, because you're driving up, then they're going to see all these Lincoln cars. Well, where the heck did these come from? This one's got a different shape of design. This one's more the parts car. I think it was used for parts, actually. It's the same thing, but it is a little bit different. And for whatever reason, the brake rotor is not on there. It's just dangling. That was dangling the whole way home. How many miles does this white one have? I think it only has 100 and something on it. Yeah. 195. Yeah, 190 basically. So, not too many. Almost 200, I guess. Not a lot. This one, I might get it running. I could drive it around the farm. But I think there's parts missing off of this one. This one's this is a lot more beat up. The stuff is kind of getting, the seat's all ruined. And the window was just open for some reason. I kind of like this one a little better. The seats are different in it. And this piece is missing, so this one I'm pretty sure was a parts car. And this one has 200,000 on it. 224, I guess. Yeah, this one's also seen better days. It's a good parts vehicle. And I don't know when the last time this was driven. Parts are... I'm sure parts are pretty hard to come by for these because I haven't made them in years. This is probably a late 80s or 90s model. It's a square type. These would be pretty fun cars to have. This whole thing is just rusted out. And there's like cardboard in here and plastic. Stupidest body material I've ever seen. Ridiculous. See, look, like cardboard in here. What is that for? It gets soaking wet and then it just rusts out. These things only have like 5 inches of ground clearance. And what I love about them is they're like as bouncy as a trampoline. Suspension is just so soft. Because these things are supposed to be like boats. But this one was 09 was the last time it was driven. Insured, anyway, so. It's probably been sitting since 09. But these could definitely, these ones have, this white one's got potential. I mean, I have a whole parts car here too. So, I may get this one going eventually. The gas tank's rusted out on it. So, I think the gas tank's probably rusted out on both of these. Yeah, I guess this is a video about our cars we got from that property. And these things had electric trunk closing systems, so that's why it won't close. And here's the tire cables instead of chains. These cables you wrap around the tire. What would be funny is if I got one of them going, like maybe the parts one. I have these 15-inch mud tires. I could put mud tires on the back of here if they'll fit. They probably won't fit though. That would be funny. Mud tires on a Ford Lincoln. I don't think anyone's ever done that before. I'm like positive no one's done that before. This one smells like fresh gas. Normally the gas smells like paint thinner. Or whatever. Varsol or... I don't know what's the tank on this one. The tank looks actually not bad. Maybe the tank is good on this one. It's been patched a couple of times. This thing is it's a bit rusty. I don't know if that can be... I mean, the other one is the one that we're putting on the road, but... That's just the body. Yeah, so I guess this is a video on all of my Ford cars. This thing's got some good training fluid in it. I'm amazed. Because what I did to my truck is I just put a little bit of gas in the gas tank and then it started running immediately. So if it's not rusted out, then it might be okay. Usually the fuel lines are probably gummed up, but let's just see what happens. I added some oil because the oil was low, and it's diesel engine oil, but that's all I had around. Any oil in the car to sit, whether you get it going or not, it's better than having no oil in it, so that's all I had. Usually you don't want to hammer on those, but I'm trying not to do it too hard. What happens when engines have been sitting for a while, mainly the bigger engines, gas engines or diesel engines, they kind of partially seize. And the starter usually does the same thing. It kind of partially seizes just because, there's an oxide layer on the copper and these things just sit forever. So the car right now is turning over terribly, but after turning it over and, just giving it more charge, No, I jump started it with the tractor. Well, I didn't start it, but it turned over a lot nicer in the end. This thing does not want to change it. Button doesn't want to go in. That might just be this button now. And then trying to... The fuel pump's coming on. I need to turn that off. It's just not getting... I don't know what's on. That must be a fuel pump under the hood or something. Something like that. And this thing is obviously sitting a while. There's like wasp stuff in there. So in the end, that's not the end you just saw. I don't know if I filmed it or not, but in the very end, I got the car turning over the speed it normally would under normal circumstances. It would turn over, much faster, and it would turn over the same speed it would when it was brand new. But this car also did not have any spark, and I knew that because I put a bit of gas in the intake and tried a bit of ether, and I had my mother turn the key, and I sprayed some ether in there while it was turning over, gave it a bit of throttle, and it would not do anything. And then I pulled the plugs out, and I filmed the plugs with the camera and turned over the car, and I lost the footage, or I got rid of it or something. But I know this car does not have spark. But this car, the same thing with the others. It may run if it had spark. I think that's pretty cool. That thing sounds good. I should get my dad to drive it. Listen to that thing. Sounds so good. There's a hen with chicks over here. So there's just some stuff here I'm gonna move. Some of it we use, most of it's junk, but like these trailers and that plow, I want to put them somewhere where you can get them, either one of them, so that they're not all in front of each other. And then I'll move some of those seat bunks and then some of that stuff. I'm not sure what I'll do yet, but I know I'll move some stuff around. I'm gonna try to get on the roof of this thing. Try to climb up here, get the tripod up there. This is the kind of roof you don't want to walk on every part of it. It's probably just going to fall down. So this is what we call a boneyard. So basically it's like a junkyard, but it's stuff that, usually it's stuff that works that you just don't use very often. Or you don't use it at all. Like that loader hasn't been used since the late 80s or so. Or even earlier, like the 70s. But it still works. It just, we don't use it. So on farms, we call it a boneyard. So that's what it means. It doesn't mean a pile of dead cows. It means piles of old machinery. So I did this. So I got this mat in between the door because the window is either broken or it's stuck down in there. I can't get it up. So this thing will kind of protect it a bit better. So looks pretty funny, but and that'll protect the cat. So yeah, it's just now I can park. You know, a lot of this stuff won't ever move like that. You could scrap that. And the wheel was stuck on it, and so I just gave it a bang with the tractor and it came off. That was funny. And this is the trailer that came from the property the car came from. But yeah, it needs a new deck. And here's the other bumper for that car, and then there's the hubcap as well. So that's why I didn't really care about destroying that bumper as another one. But yeah, and then this stuff just won't really move much. And then some of the miscellaneous, small miscellaneous stuff I put along here because there's kind of piles of wood here. And then I just kind of continued this line. So that way, you know, there's place to back machinery in here. And, you know, you can back it up here. And the reason, now you could have stuff, you just back everything against a fence. But the reason I didn't do that was because it's a hill. And so, you know, if you have a car or truck, it might just roll forward over time. Or if a cow pushes on it, it might roll forward. So that's why to back stuff up, it's like that. See how those machines are all backed in like this. And the skidder may get moved. We might put it right there in here somewhere. Because the skidder doesn't, I don't think it works anymore. Engine quit. But I'm not sure. A skidder might work. I mean, my uncle was driving it up the hill and it stalled. He had like pretty high throttle. It wouldn't have stalled it because it was in too high a gear. It was in a low gear, high throttle. It just cut out. And the combine's rusted out. But it's such a big machine, I guess that's a good place for it. But if it was my farm, I would tow it and put it over here. Because this is a junkyard. I don't really want a combine sitting in the edge of the field over there. But I want that skidder up here. And actually there's a nice good grapple here. And there's a semi fifth wheel. It looks like it's in good shape. That could be sold. And there's another thing there, I don't know what it's called. That thing could also be sold. Because both of those things I think are still in good shape. And then just stuff. Just here. And this I nicknamed this dog Rockefeller. So I just call him Rockefeller. Rockefeller? Rocky? Yeah, he knows his name is Rocky, but I call him Rockefeller. He's sniffing. But yeah. There's Sophie watching over him. Yeah, I'm glad this is all cleaned up now. Now there's so much room in here. You can park whatever you want in here. I mean, it's some of this stuff, you know, it's like got stuff back behind it, but those trailers, I use them sometimes, or I'm going to use them sometimes. And the plow, there's a very small chance we're going to use it this year, but I don't know if we are. Yeah, this is kind of, you know, everything's moved. Actually, that tractor did a good job of moving stuff in. Can you get up? Sophie could get up here. She's 10 years old. She's an old dog. And she was a mother this year. A 10-year-old dog is a mother. I don't think she'll ever be able to get pregnant. He's been fixed because he looks like a gopher from this. He looks like a gopher from this angle. He's been fixed because we don't want a male dog running around to the neighbors. And also, she doesn't want to become a mother again because she's too old for that. It's weird when I zoom in the camera, it's lighter that way. So for the first shot, I had the tripod on the baler there. Then I had this thing. I'm gonna put the tripod on this round steel building. And I just climbed up there. Like there's a step there and then got it. Look at that. Michael Jackson Lane from Smooth Criminal. I guess this is the video on the 3 Ford cars that we acquired from, well, actually there's 4. So these 3 cars and my pickup truck all came from the same place. The Chevrolet pickup truck was there too. And that place has been abandoned for over at least 8 years, probably 15 years or so. Or I'm not, roughly, I don't know. Or maybe it's been since 09. But I think it's been abandoned for a little longer than that, or a little less maybe. But yeah. Well, I guess this kind of wraps up the videos of these vehicles we got. So now, I guess if anyone's just gonna, probably not a long, boring video of me talking, but now if I film something else and these are in the video, now everybody knows what they're for. So these are just yard ornaments right now until I figure out what to do with them.